Welcome to CJ and DJ's Movie Reviews, your guide to movie reviews and what beer best pairs with them. Now, here are your hosts, CJ and DJ.
Welcome to CJ and DJ's Movie Reviews, your one-stop guide for all movies and what beer pairs best with them. I am your host, CJ, and we are joined today by your co-host with the mo-host, DJ.
What's up, everybody?
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I just watched this movie.
Yeah, so did I. We watched it together, actually.
Yeah.
You
and
remember?
You can tell by our smiles. I don't know if you guys watched the Power Hour, but we were not that excited to watch this.
Yeah, well, as if you guys haven't noticed, we are going to be talking about the Fate of the Furious today, and we're going to be breaking it down and reviewing it for you guys. And as always, this is a non-spoiler review, and we pair it with a beer at the very end. As you can see right here. It's this beer. We will talk about it a little bit later. So let's go ahead and get into the plot summary, shall we?
Tell me about the movie, Case.
So we start out, they just got married, right? Dom and Letty. Mm-hmm. Dom and Letty are enjoying their honeymoon out in the country of Cuba, of all places, really. And they're having so much fun up until a mysterious woman by the name of Cypher comes up and appears out of nowhere and wants Dom to help her with her nefarious plans.
Yeah, so she ends up blackmailing Dom. So on their next heist, because that's just what Dom and his friends do.
Yeah.
Just on their next heist, he has to betray them in order to help her, with the schemes that she's up to.
Now the Furious Gang has to go up against their biggest opponent yet, their very own Dominic Toretto, as they try to free him from the clutches of this evil woman and her dastardly plans. It's got a nice little plot, right?
Yeah.
This movie's about family. You never would think that one of the family would betray them, right?
Way out of left field. This is exactly what you need in the 8th movie.
So, DJ, let's go ahead and get into it. Give me your review of this movie.
Right out the gate, you got to see some ass.
Yes, right out the gate. They're like, let's just get this out of the way for you guys.
Now that we got that over with, let's get to our characters that you love so much. So, well, when we did our review, we saw Fast 7, Furious 7.
Furious 7.
Yeah. We weren't that big of fans, and the story, the flow, we didn't dig it all that much.
I thought it was choppy.
Very choppy. But I was really surprised with the story in this one. It flowed pretty nicely, and the big story is how Dom does go rogue. And the blackmail thing, it was fine. His motives for having to...
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was blackmailed. I thought that was done fine. I thought that was done pretty good. But it still wasn't all there. It comes down to the cast for me. So Dom, when I was seeing the movie, they really built up his legacy. And I thought that was what made Dom so great.
But yeah, they worship him in this movie.
He is, but the thing is, Vin Diesel, we bash on you a little too much. I know. I didn't think he was strong enough to really carry this franchise. And Michelle Rodriguez, the big love interest, and she's like, oh no, he's backstabbed me, even though we just got married. I didn't care all that much as I should have. And Ludacris, Tyrese, and Natalie Emanuel.
Mm-hmm. Ramsey.
They had some focus, and it was mainly for comic relief, and I didn't really like it. This is an over-the-top action movie, and the people that make it actually worth it is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, and Kurt Russell.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes. They're really fun. They're all really iconic, classic characters, and they're still pretty new in this whole franchise, but they are what works with it. And I really like those characters. Scott Eastwood was also in this movie.
Debut for his character.
He was, yeah. I mean, he was introduced. I liked him a lot, but then halfway through, he was getting a little too much involvement, and it was kind of like, is he trying to be forced into this Paul Walker
It does
replacement?
seem like that's very apparent later in the film. I completely agree with that.
What do you think about those characters?
I have a lot of the same opinions that you do about the characters. One of my favorite parts out of this whole movie is the chemistry of Dwayne Johnson's Hobbs and Jason Statham's Shaw. Like, they were working together. They were hilarious the entire time with their little rivalry feud that they had going on.
And they kicked ass.
And they stole the show. Like, this was not Vin Diesel's movie. This was their movie.
Yes. Madman 100%. I was looking forward to their scenes the entire time. Like, when it went back to the characters like Vin Diesel and Michelle, and I didn't care about the romance. I didn't care about the comic relief. I just can't wait to see those guys back on screen.
Yeah. And like you were mentioning, Scott Eastwood gets introduced. His character gets introduced. He's basically like the sidekick of Kurt Russell, right?
Right.
He is what they affectionately call him, Little Nobody. Now,
I like that.
I
scene.
thought
That's
he
funny.
was pretty strong in the beginning, and I actually liked his character a lot. Up until it became more of his involvement and him getting in, helping them with everything, and it just felt way too generic at that point.
Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that they were doing pretty well. But one character surprisingly that stood out to me was Cypher.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. I wasn't expecting very much from her, but she was she's gorgeous, but she's also a great actress. She can be really sinister and intimidating. She's very smart, very threatening, and I really liked her. And her sidekick from Game of Thrones. Still don't know his name.
Yes. She was very good, I thought, but my actual favorite dark horse of this movie was Helen Mirren for the 5 minutes that she was in. Oh my God, she was hilarious. I don't want to get into like who her character is or anything like that. I want you guys to check it out in the movie if you go see it. I mean, you can be without the movie, but her part was really fun and I liked it a lot. I thought it was a nice addition. She played it very well.
Yeah. 100%. And this is an action movie. I thought the action was fine. I mean, obviously it's really over the top, but my favorite parts were the not too over the top ones.
Yeah.
Like some of the hand-to-hand combat or the prison scene was really good.
Yes, the prison scene was a lot of fun.
And towards the end, the last act, there was a few hand-to-hand combat scenes, not just Jason Statham, and they're all done pretty well. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And of course, you are going to get pretty ridiculous, but I thought overall the action was very good. It's entertaining, no doubt.
Yeah, completely. I thought this movie was an improvement over Furious 7. As you guys may have checked out in our last video for the Furious 7 review that we did, I was not a fan.
No.
I did not like it. I thought it was choppy. And this movie I thought was a great improvement over the story's cohesion. It flowed really well, and it felt like the movie was progressing from one scene to the next semi-flawlessly.
Yes.
I don't want to say flawlessly, but semi-flawlessly.
Well, you know what? Considering what it was following, I thought it did a good job.
And I tip my hat that I I'm wearing imaginatively.
Eastwood-wise.
To F. Gary Gray in his directing.
I thought he did a good job.
I thought it was a lot better than Furious 7.
Yeah, some people don't agree with that. Some people think, Fast 7 is better. But I'm going to take the Heath Ledger card out.
Yeah.
That last scene is what made it great.
It made it great.
It was a bad movie.
Now, I thought the action scenes were holistically pretty unbelievable. And I guess that's what you expect when you come into these movies, right? So
it's almost like they don't know how fire works when it gets in contact with a human.
Oh man, you guys will check out, if you go check out the movie, you'll know what we're talking about with the fire. So besides the action, the other overarching theme in this movie is this idea about family and how important it is.
Go figure.
Right? And it's repeated over and over and over again. They're like, you are not going to forget that this movie's about family at all. And you could literally trade out some of the dialogue that they say and just end it with family, and it would have just fit.
They need to start putting these movies out on Thanksgiving at times.
Yeah, seriously.
That makes a lot more sense.
Now, the last thing I want to bring up in my review here is I felt like the movie was sometimes self-aware of how ridiculous it was.
Right.
And I appreciate it when movies do that. You know, it shows that they actually know how stupid it is.
Yeah.
But then there were times where it kind of shifted and it took itself very seriously. Now, this is a minor complaint, but if they would have stuck with one or the other, I think it would have made it a better movie. instead of just kind of playing both fields of, hey, we're kind of making this movie for fun, but we're also taking it super seriously. Like, to me, it didn't really flow as well, and I got a little confused as someone who analyzes movies about the nature of the film, and, you know, I think it would have been I thought it would have been really clever if it knew how self-aware it was.
Yeah, and even if you're turning off your brain, like I was trying to do for most of it, that distracted me too. I'm like, there was a lot of things.
And I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't want to turn off my brain for a movie. You know, like, I feel like that's such a stupid argument that people bring up. Oh, why can't you just watch a movie without having your brain on? Well, I don't know. Maybe because I like thinking, which this movie doesn't provide any of.
I like getting my money's worth. I can turn off my brain at night when I sleep.
Exactly.
Or just when I'm staring at my wall.
So, DJ, let's go ahead and get into what rating did you give this movie?
Getting back, I mean, overall, I had fun with this movie. I didn't expect very much from it. And it's, like, even though it was going to be, like, really over the top, I did have fun with it. But when it came to the comic relief, especially from Tyrese, I'm sorry. He was probably my least favorite character because he is just so, like, hammering in with the jokes that do not land.
They don't land at all.
And then
he had like a couple good ones, but that was it.
There we go.
For a guy who is primarily comic relief, and that's all of his lines are comic relief.
Yeah, so I don't think he has a problem actually delivering them. I mean, his dialogue was kind of shitty on its own. But
yeah, the writing was bad.
When you get Hobbs and you get The Rock and Jason Statham having some really funny lines, it's like, did they have like two separate writers? So there was a big disconnect and high contrast, and it really made it kind of choppy for me. I feel like I'm going to take down 4 beers for me to think this is a great movie. A 6 out of 10. I mean, it's good, but the flaw is just really going to take me out of the movie.
Yeah, and I went pretty similar with you. You know, a lot of the flaws are distracting. I definitely thought the movie was an improvement over the last one, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's an improvement over the last one. And I like how it brought back more of, like, the original, like, cars. Like, cars are way more of a focus in this one than just random gadgets and vehicles that they're using. And however, there's just still too much of the same in these movies.
Yeah.
You know, man, we're talking about no character depth, horrible dialogue, over the top, and way unbelievable action sequences. Although they were really, really well shot. I'll give it to them. You know, the cinematography is really good. But along with this feeling of not really knowing if it was trying to be self-aware or not, felt jilted and kind of took me out of the movie a lot. I gave this movie an ultimate 5 beers for me to enjoy. So 5 out of 10.
That's fair.
Right? I thought it was a totally fair rating, and it's a lot of... It is fun.
You're going to have fun with it. It just doesn't make it a great movie.
And it's going to be forgettable in the long run.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you've been waiting this whole time. What beer do we have in here? Huh? What kind of beer do we got in here? I'm sure they're waiting for it.
I don't know, bro. You do tell us.
All right. So we're taking, and we're going to tell you guys, the best pairing with this movie will be your favorite bro beer. Now, bro beers include beers like Bud Light, Coors Light, Coronas, anything that's largely commercialized and that you can buy in bulk.
And it's really hard to get a nice head.
Yeah, it was really hard to get a nice head. It was all
it's watery.
It's watery.
It's for your beer.
That's good. That's a good one. Because this movie is all about your bro family, your bro babes, and your bro cars.
Well put, my man.
Hey, there we go. Awesome. So cheers to that. Let's go ahead and finish this. All right, this has been another episode of CJ and DJ's Movie Reviews. You guys can check out all of our reviews on our YouTube channel at Movie Brewhouse Productions. You can check out our Facebook, Instagram at Movie Brewhouse Productions. You can check us out on Twitter at Movie Brewhouse. And, of course, beats provided by at Mobanga for 3 Gs for 3 times the gangsta.
Yeah, baby.
My name is CJ. I was your host today, and we are joined by my co-host with the Mo-host, DJ.
It's been great, guys.
It's been great. You guys, we love you like family.
Family.
See ya.
All right.